Alright, I started to tear into this. The front end came off pretty easily, even though I'd never done it. Everything came off. And my bane of my existence was disconnecting these AC lines. See, I'm used to just digging the Sawzall in here and cutting the wiring and everything I don't want, and then yanking the motor. And while the motor is on the hoist, anything that's holding it in, I just Sawzall and rip it out. Unfortunately, I want to keep all this air conditioning for who knows what reason, but so I had to I have fuel disconnects and AC disconnects, but they don't fit this. So I went to Harbor Freight and I got the $5 plastic set, and they came right off with a little bit of persuasion, so I can put that aside and, you know, hopefully have AC again when I'm all done. But I'm gonna start ripping into the rest of this. I'd love to get the motor out today. That would be huge. If I could get the engine out, I would be smitten with myself. So I'm gonna yank a couple things and video it and pull stuff apart. It is already in the 90s at 9 a.m. It is incredibly hot the last couple days. I know it's hotter where you live, so save your breath. Wait a minute. Yep, just sitting there. There's a rod on the cross member. It's hanging out. Power steering thing is right in the way. Let's go. Oh, that's not connected. I gotta get the transmission to go over this way. Needs a little bit more rear drop down. I could not get this pin out of this transmission, the shifter, so that's what's screwing me right now. That's what is being the biggest pain in the ass. Well, I guess we're testing how sturdy these quick jacks are. Okay, right boys? What's this? Ground wire. Ah, yes. Okay. That's the other factor. Oh! Yeah, there's just a rod hanging out there. He's like, what's up? That pin I could not get out, so then the shifter was in my way. Oh well. I can see if there are any other bolts in this tranny. I don't think so. I think I got all the bolts out. I couldn't pull the tranny out. So I just decided to try to get everything here at once. Let me bust this camera loose. Show you the side of the block. Hello! Hello! Took a nice hit. That's for sure. I almost thought when I crawled under, I almost thought I broke my bell housing on my trans. That was gonna piss me off. But luckily it just broke the back of the block. Didn't crack the bell. Check out that connecting rod laying there. Some other bullshit. Looking good. Let's check this out. Oh yeah, she's dickered. All right, here we are installing the balancer. I actually heated this up and was not able to slide it on, so I have a balancer install tool here, which is basically a bunch of all thread and just yanks it on flush. I needed to swap to a Corvette balancer and water pump to maximize my front end space. And then also here, this is a crank pinning kit from like a Magnuson blower, because I plan to do the blower eventually, so I figured why not pin the thing right now so I don't have to pin it later. You basically bolt up this guide and drill a hole, and it goes half in between the crank and half in the balancer and stops it from spinning when you are, you know, turning a blower really hard, and that's it. Pretty simple. Just something I'm adding in there. Okay, gentlemen, and very few ladies, we are getting there. I have not been filming a lot. I was getting interrupted too many times, and I had way too much stuff to do, and I was reading instructions most of the time, but I videoed pulling the engine out, the rod laying on the cross member. That was hilarious. I got everything. What took me so long was obviously I have to keep the AC lines and everything nice. I can't just sawzall through them, so that's a new skill I don't understand, you know, figuring it out. So I've been trying to work on all of the nitpick stuff, because this is a whole lot of stuff I don't normally do. The clutch and the flex plate and pilot bearing in there, and just a lot of stuff going on. Tighten down the clutch. Got the remembered my alignment tool. I still remember some things about how to use a manual transmission. And then talk about all inclusive. The kit to put the AC on. Take a look at this billet goodness. AC uses the AC belt, not the other accessory belt. Some people, when they see the pictures, they see this as the only tensioner. They don't realize there's a manual tensioner up here, and they think that the AC tensioner is Steven's entire accessory belt tensioner. It's just the AC belt. It's very similar to like how stock LS is, just an AC belt and then accessory drive belt. So it even came with an alignment tool and a drill bit and a tap kit to tap the block, because the iron block does not have a Boss threaded thing here. So this comes with all of that. So I threaded it, so I got that guy in. Oil filter relocation kit. Look at these beautiful nickel and satin and black lines it comes with. This is seriously some fancy stuff. So I got the AC back on. I'm gonna do all sorts of other little stuff for the accessory drive. I got the engine mounts on. Look at these things, are beautiful, obviously. It even has a little instruction sheet on the inside of the motor mount that says this side of the engine and this way back, so you make sure you get those right. This is a Clutch Masters clutch. I can't remember. Look at all the boxes I'm just annihilating, trying to get this my head around this stuff and get it correct. So what I wanted to do next, I think, was work on the accessory drive. I was all ready to put the transmission on. I clean up the transmission. There's something you have to grind, something you have to drill, and then it will bolt to this successfully. And then there's like a tiny clearance issue sometimes with some of the transmissions, the instructions say, so you grind a little bit of the bell housing. These are ARP bolts, and then they are ARP fasteners for the flex plate or the flywheel also. You guys are going to lose your minds, but he recommends the stronger than stock bolt because of, you know, this is adapted out because of this and all sorts of stuff going on there. Anyway, I want to work on the accessory drive, and then I think when I'm done, I'll just show you guys when I'm done. I only have so much time. I took off a couple days here around 4th of July just to get the bulk of this done, because I knew I would need a ton of uninterrupted time to get this motor out, put this motor in, and then the rest of it's all little stuff, obviously. Easy. So, working on that. And then I gotta get this water pump on over here somewhere. Put the water pump on, get the accessory setup. Look at this. Look at how beautifully this stuff comes. Check this out. Bagged and labeled and everything. And then this is for my shifter. This is the relocator for the shifter since the transmission goes so far back. There's my starter, fuel pump, relays. It comes with everything, obviously. It's insane. I can't believe every little bit and bolt it comes with. Anyway, accessories next. As soon as the accessories are done, I'm gonna bolt the transmission up, and then I'd like to get everything in, and then that would be incredible. That's my goal for today, is to have engine and transmission in this thing. That would be awesome. I would be blown away with myself. So I'm gonna cut back, show you guys some more of the stuff I did, but I'm just trying to pay attention and not screw myself. So sorry if I don't have a ton of it on video, but it's super straightforward. Bolt the clutch on, follow all the directions. There's 2 different bolt patterns on this swap flywheel, because if you buy a certain clutch, it has pins in a different spot. So this has both pin locations and all the bolt locations, so that's awesome. Also, this guy's flush, take care of everything else. But yeah, it is like in the mid to high 90s, and I know it's obviously hotter where you live, but that's not the kind of climate I'm used to working in. It's killing me. So we're getting there. Show you when I'm farther along with the accessories. Otherwise, it's just bolting the water pump on and following some instructions and all these brackets. Alright, and just for fun, I wanted to include some pictures here of me installing the adapter plate and the clutch. I mean, there's really not much to it, but now you get to check it out. And here is a shot of the oil filter relocation lines and everything installed, and the clutch, and everything looking nice and pretty and shiny and new. What a contrast from what I normally do. Did that rhyme? Well, yeah, that ain't bad. I did have to take the map sensor off the top, and I did have to cut this guy. That's the last thing that hits. But it closes. It sits on the, basically right on the intake, and closes level. So might need to cut a little bit of the stuff under the hood, or it'll just close right on the intake. It helps hold the intake down, I guess, but it's very tight. I think the blower is actually shorter because this is high and far out. The blower is only high really in the back, where I will have more room, and very low in the front. So that's the next thing, to see if that fits before I do anything else. I'm just curious to see if the blower will fit and the hood will close. All right, here is with the LSA blower without the adapter plates installed. It hits the top of the blower. Definitely tall, and remember, there's gonna be like a 3/4 inch or a 1 inch adapter plate that adapts the square port to the cathedral port. So yeah, we got gaps, but like I said, if anything has to poke out of the hood, if it's this cool blower lid, I can live with that. I think that'll be pretty neat. I mean, it would be neat to me if I could just close the hood, but if I gotta have the ribbed blower thing sticking out, that won't hurt my feelings. I think that'll be pretty cool. So that's where we're at. Alright, since it was brutally hot and most of what I was doing was cursing while doing this, I saved everybody the trouble. So here's a shot from the front of like the accessory bracket installed, and the starter and transmission's already bolted up, and literally everything just bolts on this kit. It's amazing. It's funny how little work I had to do. I mean, there was some like drilling and some stuff you have to grind for stuff to fit perfectly, but it is funny to be able to bolt on a kit. I've always made everything, so it has been refreshing just bolting something in here. It's only taking me less than 2 days worth so far, over a couple hours, over a couple days. I'm really kind of blown away by how fast it's going. So there's the engine in the car. I took some nice pictures. And then I put the intake in, and that's showing that the hood is closed like I did in the video. And yep, just a couple more shots of the front end and with the engine installed. And man, I'm really getting there. Here's a nice shot with the hood closed with the front end off. You can see the truck intake, the Trailblazer SS intake in there with the 92mm Snake Eater throttle body on there. Everything does close, barely. It just closes. So I'm excited about that for now. Like I said, I'm probably going to have to cut it for the blower. We'll show you that picture next. This is a little bit of a buzzkill, but as I understand, the people that this fits under their hood, they use the CTSV lid, which is shorter. So mine hits, and then also you have to take into account, I'm going to install square port to cathedral port adapter plates that are going to lift that blower another 3/4 of an inch to an inch. But, you know, I'm going to keep reiterating. If I have to cut the hood for my blower ribs to stick out, that's not really going to hurt my feelings. It'll actually be pretty cool. And right here is how much the hood is up. It's not much. I could probably cut the ribbing and some other things, maybe get away with it. But the issue will be that I have to do adapter plates and everything anyway. So it's going to make up the rest of the room. Here's another nice shot of mostly everything installed, just no front end yet. A couple other things to button up. I have the wiring and whatnot to do, drive shaft, some shifter things, you know, a bunch of small things. But what I really obviously wanted to get done was this is the bulk of it. And the long tube headers are already in, blah, blah, blah. AC is already connected, just got to put the condenser in. Really rolling along. Very pleased, and I will definitely do another video overviewing everything, how I think it fit, you know, showing more stuff on the kit, but it's just boiling hot and I just need to get this thing done.